This video on the Richard North BizBytes TikTok channel shows a long queue of women waiting to use the toilets at Euston Station in London. Meanwhile, no queue at the men's toilet. One comment blamed architects and it got over 26,000 likes. Now, we've all seen this in public buildings, but why does it happen? Who decides how many toilets should be allocated? Euston Station is in London, so the English building regulations apply in this case. After spending far too much time searching through the regs, I noticed they don't contain a simple method to calculate the number of toilets required in a building. Instead, they reference a British standard, BS 6465-4 2010. After a bit more searching, I found the document and it's an eye-opener. It does start by saying gender ratio should be taken into consideration, but it goes on to reference the British Toilet Association. Who knew? They say a local authority should provide no fewer than one cubicle per 550 women and girls, and one cubicle or urinal per 1,100 men or boys, so twice the provision for women than men. But they go on to discuss an equation used to calculate the number of WCs needed based on the number of people in the area, the percentage of those likely to use the facilities, and the amount of time taken to use those facilities. What struck me is how open to interpretation this is. An unscrupulous building owner or property developer could tip the scales to avoid having to build as many toilets as they might otherwise have to. I work in Scotland and I prefer the clarity in our building regulations. For bigger public buildings, such as a train station, it's a two-step process. We first need to work out the number of people in the building, find the type of building on this chart and its corresponding load factor. We then divide the floor area of the building by the load factor and hey presto, that gives you the number of people. It's mathematics, it's not open for debate. We then read off this chart to work out how many toilets need to be provided. Now, I'm not saying the Scottish building regulations will give better provision, more toilets, but I am saying it is much easier to understand and much less prone to being manipulated by unscrupulous actors. What happens in Euston Station is plainly ridiculous and just shouldn't be happening in this day and age. But keep in mind, the building regulations don't apply retrospectively. An older building does not need to comply with today's regulations, just the regulations as they were at the time the building was built. You can blame architects if you want to. I don't design public buildings. All I'm doing is trying to raise awareness of how the system actually works. If you want to change this, you're going to need to force building owners to up the provision of toilets in their properties. And if you want future buildings to have better provision, you need to lobby the government to change the building regulations. I don't make the rules. Don't hate the player, hate the game.